Mel, this is what GMs and personnel wanted to hear. What are the expectations now for Kyler Murray if indeed he's fully committed?
That's the thing, Wendy. Now we know he's fully committed. He's all in. You can't be a part-time quarterback in the NFL like defensive backs and running backs have been in the past. So I think now the NFL, go to the combine. It's not about throwing. We know he's got a great arm. We know he can run as fast as anybody. It's not about a 40 time. It's about the height, Wendy. Is he 5'9", 5'9.5", 5'10"? How teams assess that. How he looks physically in terms of his frame and his body type. And then the interview session is going to be critical. And that always is the most critical part of the evaluation process at the combine is those one-on-one interviews with those NFL teams. And teams at 4 with Oakland, think about Giants at 6, Jacksonville at 7, Denver at 10, Miami at 13. Could all be thinking quarterback. And it's Dwayne Haskins, Ohio State, and it's Kyler Murray, Oklahoma, as your 2 top QBs in this draft.
And Mel, I believe in your current mock draft, you have Murray at 13 to the Miami Dolphins. Why is that?
Well, because at that time, this was about a month ago, Wendy, and I'll update this coming Monday. A week from today, mock number 2.0 comes out. Todd did his last week, had him going there, Murray to 13 to Miami as well. I think the height issue is going to be something teams are going to have to debate. This will be the first time ever, Wendy, a franchise quarterback at 5'9", 5'10" is going to go this high. Russell Wilson at 5'10" and 3/4 went in the 3rd round. So I think this is groundbreaking. This is something nobody's ever done. So a GM that does this, Wendy, will do something new and completely new to the NFL.
But Mel, have the Russell Wilsons and the Baker Mayfields, if you will, done enough to challenge the notion at this point that height is the be-all and end-all for an NFL quarterback?
They're doing it, Wendy. I think Russell Wilson started. I said back when Russell Wilson was coming out that he's going to be a test case. If he makes it big, that height factor is going to go out the window. If he didn't, then it's always going to be. You got to be around that 6-foot range, 5'10" and 3/4, 5'10" and a half. Not going to cut it. So I think John Gruden always said, is that much now going to cause me to pass on a quarterback? That much. And now we're talking about, is he 5'9", 5'10"? What is Kyler Murray? The combine will tell us that. He's all in on the NFL. Now, Wendy, the fun begins.
All right, Mel, it certainly does. We'll be there to watch. And again, no player has ever gone in the 1st round in both the Major League Baseball draft and the NFL draft. He's got the baseball thing covered. He's checked that box, and now we wait on the NFL. I think let's spin this forward. If he's committed, he says he is, we'll take him at his word. Where are some potential landing spots, a fit that you see potentially, Jeff?
Well, I just know that if you look across the league right now, the quarterback position is certainly one that doesn't exactly have this influx of players. Last year, at this point, we were talking about a lot of different names, whether it be Kirk Cousins or Case Keenum and a number of other guys that trickled down from there. For Kyler Murray is entering a situation where we're still wondering where Nick Foles will wind up, whether Eli Manning will spring free, Joe Flacco eventually we expect to spring free, Ryan Tannehill, Tyrod Taylor, Teddy Bridgewater. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Not exactly these top-tier names. As a result, I think a team will be more willing to look at Kyler Murray and say, hey, we're not going to wait till the 2nd round. We're going to use the 1st round pick instead.
Yeah, look at the Oakland Raiders. You look at we've already heard what the Arizona Cardinals, have talked about as far as Kyler Murray. I think there's a number of teams that are out there that can fit the mold. And I'm not so set to pigeonhole Kyler Murray to say, well, he's a scrambling quarterback. That's all he can do. He can only use his legs. This is a drop-back quarterback. This is a guy, he's a drop-back quarterback. And by the way, he can run a 4.3 at the same time. This guy has great arm strength. He has good presence in the middle of the field. Heisman candidate, has been a winner his entire life. Did not lose a game in high school. One of the greatest athletes to ever play Texas football, and that's saying something. This guy knows how to win football games, and he's built for these moments to win championships.
It's one thing the NFL loves, and that's winners. And he's proven to be exactly that. I think the kid can make every throw. He can use his legs, as we've seen. I think the Raiders are there. I think the Bengals are a good team for him to fit into. It's just a matter of what's his maturity level going to be as he progresses throughout his career in the NFL, especially in that first year. That first year is always very important, whether he plays or doesn't play, whatever the case may be. How does he progress? We saw Baker Mayfield take some pretty huge steps in his first year as a quarterback. How is he going to progress in that realm, and what team does he go to allow him to grow?
What's interesting is that he goes through the process with the baseball draft, and then he used his next season, his collegiate season, as sort of a litmus test, if you will. All he does is break every record and win the Heisman Trophy. So perhaps told him exactly. No big deal. I told you what I needed to know.
You talk about suitors, though, and one of the interesting components here is you look at a team like the New Orleans Saints, where you could say, well, that would be a good fit because Sean Payton could develop him. The whole Drew Brees thing, he's getting older and all that. Then you start to wonder, though, is a team like that going to still take him at his word. Like, you go down this conversation about whether or not he is committed to football. Will the New Orleans Saints or a team like that be willing to develop him as opposed to a team that's going to say, no, we want him here right now. We want to take advantage of this immediately.
And the Saints would have to trade up to get him,
yeah,
right?
for sure. Well, not necessarily. I mean, who knows where he ends up? But,
Gotcha.
But
and I don't.
theory,
If they wanted him in the first round, they would have.
Yes.
You always want to take somebody at their word, but I don't think this completely erases the question. I mean, this says I'm committed right now, right? If everything falls into place, if things go my way, I think you have to say, okay, but what if a few things don't? What if you have to sit? What if you have to learn?
I disagree.
You don't think there'll be?
No.
Don't you wonder if that's ever in the back of his mind?
As I'm assessing him, yes, absolutely, I'm going to think about that. But as a person knowing the family, and if you're asking me, I think he's made the decision. And football is a part of the family business as it pertains to the Murray family. His father coaches, is a tutor of high school coaches, high school football players, quarterbacks in the area in Dallas, Fort Worth, and this is a part of what they do. I think baseball's been that side of things where he's had a good time. Came easy to him. He was a good football.
Man, must be nice.
To be so lucky.
Nice, man.
But football is a part of the blood of this family, and I think he's finally made the decision. This is where I'm going to go, and I want to be a star in this league.
Isn't it interesting though? Like, there's got to be some business component to it, right? Like, when it comes to the NFL, when you're a first-round pick, you're going to get your shot.
Yes.
100%.
Immediately.
In baseball, if
Yes.
you're a first-round pick, you still kind of have to grind it out, unless you're like a Bryce Harper, right?
Exactly.
Not to speak out of turn, I don't know anything about baseball.
Don't stop now.
But I'm pretty
you're
sure.
right.
No, but in football, they give you, you're going to get, they've
get it.
invested whatever, first round money, $15, $20 million into you. They're going to exhaust all of that to see just exactly how you are, and they're going to give you a few years to do so. That's the way football is shaped. Baseball, you're shipped out to some grapefruit league with 40 people in the stands, and you got to kind of work your way.
You have your ride